Morning! That's much more like it. How's everyone doing today? Good! We ready to have some fun? Yeah! Awesome. We're going to learn about some cool science, then we're going to do some skating, right? Yeah! Today we're going to talk about waves and we're going to talk about sound. Who here knows what a wave is? What are some different waves? Can you think of some different types of waves? Water waves? Very good. Sound waves? Awesome. Sonic waves have to do with sound, but good. What kind? Microwaves? Awesome. You know what microwaves are? Light waves. You don't think they're light waves because you can't see them. They're electromagnetic energy. What about, who here has ever been to a sporting event? You ever seen the people wave, right? Yeah. Can we try one of those together? Yeah. Let's start on this side. Ready? Does everyone know? And go. Oh, that was pretty good. Let's try it one more time. We're going to start here. Ready, go. Good job, right? So we have waves, people waves, crowd waves. We had someone say ocean waves, right? So when if you stand in the ocean and waves are around, what happens, right? You kind of do this weird bobby thing. This is kind of how you look. You kind of bob up and down. And that's the energy of the waves. Someone said microwaves, which are a type of light, electromagnetic energy. And light is a wave. We don't think it's a wave because we don't see the light beams coming at our eyes, right? But if we were to split up that light coming out of that bulb right there, it would be moving in different wavelengths, different sizes. And the different size of wave is what gives us all our colors, like red and green and yellow and blue. And then we had someone say sound waves, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today is sound waves. So you hear me yelling at this microphone, right? Rah. Well, you can't see a sound wave, right? You don't see my voice coming out to you. So what's happening? I talk, and there's sound that comes out of these speakers, and it hits your ear, and you know what I'm saying. Well, what's happening? What is the wave moving through? Air, right? So all that's happening is I have sound energy coming out of that speaker, and it's scrunching up and compressing the air in this wave motion until it finally hits your ear and then goes into your brain, and your brain knows what I'm saying, all from the pulsation of air. I bet you've heard even if you don't know what it is, I bet you've heard the Doppler Effect. So I'm going to do something. Ready? What's that sound like? Can everyone try that with me? Ready? Whoa, you guys are good. Let's try it one more time. Ready? So that is a phenomenon we call the Doppler effect. Now, why is that so cool? Well, the reason it's cool, so let's say that was a race car, right? That's what sound a race car makes, maybe a fire truck sound. But if you were sitting in that race car, this is what you would hear. Ready? Beep. That's pretty boring, right? It's just one sound. But if you're standing outside of it, that's when you hear the meow. So why does that happen? Very good guess, very close. He said when the car's getting closer, it's getting louder. When it's going away, it's getting quieter. But I'm talking about how the sound sounds differently. So we learned, right, that the frequency of the wave, so how fast is it moving, changes the pitch of the sound. So it goes from this to this, right? Well, that's what's happening when, let's say we're in a car, and the car is honking its horn. So when you honk a car horn, it only comes out at one frequency. Right? It's a car horn. But if that car is driving by you, when it's going towards you, it's smushing the sound waves together. So the sound wave in front of the car gets smushed together. And so it sounds like a higher pitch. And when the car is moving away from you, it stretches out the sound waves. So in front of the car, we hear the high-pitched horn. Behind the car, we hear the low-pitched horn. So that's why we hear that change of frequency. Let's try it one more time. Ready? Meow. Did you hear it? All right, let's try it. One of our other friends try it. All right, good job, runners. Pretty cool stuff. And the faster you run and the louder you are, the more you'll hear that effect. So we're going to talk about one more cool thing about science before we get to our skating. So we're going to talk about the units of sound. What is the unit of how loud a sound is? We call that intensity. Does anyone know what that one is? You might not have ever heard of it before, but there's a difference between me talking to you like this and me talking to you like this. Right? What's the level of sound? Well, we call that the decibel. Can everyone say that with me? Decibel. It's a pretty cool word, decibel. Decibel. Well, the decibel, and if you ever see it, it'll look like that. It's a lowercase d and an uppercase b, and that's the decibel. And the human ear is very, very cool. It can hear a super wide range of intensities from almost nothing. So can everyone be really quiet? If you put your hand up to your ear and you move your finger on your skin, you could hear that, right? Barely, but you could hear it. But you could also hear the sound of a jet engine, which is over 1,000,000 times more intense than that sound. And so our ears can hear from the very slightest sound to the crazy loudest sound. Well, what are the decibels? So in math, we have scales. We all know what the linear scale is, right? We all can count. So what comes after 1? 2. What comes after 2? 3. What comes after 3? 4. Good, right? But because the range of sound that we can hear is so big, if we use the linear scale, we would need so many numbers, it'd be a pain to do. So we use something that we call the logarithmic scale. It uses something called a powers of 10. So we start with 1, but after 1, it's 10 times 1. So what do you think it is? The next number is 10. Well, the next number after 10 is 10 times bigger than 10. What do you think it is? 100. What's 10 times bigger than 100? 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000. And it just keeps going. And the logarithmic scale is a really cool number scale that we use when we're talking about really big ranges, because we can get to really big numbers. Look. In 7 ticks on the linear scale, we only got to 7. But 7 ticks on the log scale, how big did we get? 1,000,000, right? And so decibels work like that. So this is the decibel scale. Our very first unit, where it's almost dead quiet, we call that 0 decibels. 10 times more on our log scale, we call that 10 decibels. So that's what's in red. 10 times more than that, so 100 times more, is 20 decibels. 100 times, or 10 times more than that, is 30 decibels. 10 times more than that is 40 decibels. So that's what our logarithmic decibel scale is. So let's talk about some of these. So 0 decibels is almost perfect silence. Let's see how good we can do. Let's see how quiet we can get the room. We're going to try and get 0 decibels. Ready? 3, 2, 1. That was pretty good. We were pretty quiet. So what about 30 decibels? That's kind of like a soft whisper. Can everyone kind of softly whisper? Can you kind of hear a soft whisper? That's about 30 decibels. You know what I mean? It's maybe a little louder because I have a microphone, but when you're whispering, it's about 30 decibels. What about meh, meh, meh? that annoying alarm clock that wakes you up in the morning? Well, it's got to be loud enough to wake you up, right? Got to get you out of your sleep. That's about 80 decibels. I have a contest. You guys get to vote on who's the loudest decibel screamer. We're going to start with you. Ready? So everyone else be quiet.
No.
You got to start first.
Do we scream?
Scream as loud as you can. Ready, set, go. Okay, that was contestant number 1. Contestant number 2, go. Up. We'll give him one more try. Want to try again? Okay. Contestant number 3. Whoa! Who won? 1, 2, or 3? All right, we have our winner here. Give him a round of applause. Give him a loud decibel clap. All right, good job. Remember, we don't want to hurt our eardrums, right? So what can you think of on the rink that makes sound? We got a lot of stuff making sound out there, right? There's the skates on the ground, there's the kids laughing, there's the DJ playing music, kids talking. All of this stuff makes sound on the rink floor. But it's important to have some good tunes, right? You want some good music to dance to as you're skating. So our last thing we're going to do, could you guys look at your last page on your activity sheet in front of you? Now, because we learned a lot of cool science and a lot of cool math, we're going to practice a little bit of math together, and then we're going to do some skating. So you guys, for me, you're our sound engineers. So the last thing we're going to do is take a look at this sheet. And I want you to count how many of each type of speaker we have in our setup. And then if you really want to do some good practice, I have written on here, tweeters are pretty cheap. They cost about 10 bucks. Our mid-range speakers cost about 50, and our subwoofers are pretty expensive. They cost about 100. So let's do the first one together. How many tweeters do you count on our rink? 6. Okay, and I said they each cost about $10, right? So how much do all of those cost? What's 6 times 10? 60, good. Now see if you can do the other ones real quick. We'll keep doing them together. How many of the mid-range speakers are there? 4, good. How much did I say that they cost a piece? So how much do all of them cost? Good, $200. Now we have our expensive subwoofers for our deep rumbling bass, right? Boom, 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 boom. How many are there? 2. And how much of those expensive speakers do we have? Good, so how much do they cost? So if I needed to get a bunch of money to buy this whole sound system, how much did all of that cost? You guys I made this too easy. You guys are too good. I want to leave you with why I became an engineer and why I became a scientist. Because the most important thing is to always ask questions about everything around you. Don't take anything for granted. Ask why. Why do my hands get hot when I rub them together? How does a skate work? Why does the sound get made when I knock on the table? Why does the sun shine light? Always remember to ask questions, take things apart, and you could one day become a scientist too. So thanks a lot, guys. Did you learn some stuff? Did you have some fun? Are you ready to go skate? All right, thanks, guys.